In this video, we will see how to derive descriptive statistics in Jamovi. For this and many of the following examples, we will be using a data set which you can download from Canvas, which is called stats data. So to open this for the first time, you have to go to Open in Jamovi and then Browse and go to that place in your computer where you have stored this file. Stats data, SPED 4010, 2020, and open. After you've opened this file once, this file will appear down here to the left side, and you will be able to directly open it by clicking here. To go back to our file, every time you first load a file, you should check your variables, what they are, and how they are defined. We will go into greater detail about this dataset later. For now, we will just talk about the basic properties of variables. The first variable is called ID, and it's just a designation for each participant. So 11, 12, 13, these are all different children, and there is 47 of them. The second variable is sex, and it includes males and females. The third variable is called homelang, and it refers to the home language, whether it is a majority language or a minority language. The fourth variable is called condition and has to do with an intervention provided to some children. And the next set of variables are measured in kindergarten for these children. So we have a measure called matrices, which is a general cognitive ability test. We have a measure of letter knowledge, how many letters of the alphabet the children know, and a measure of receptive vocabulary, how many words they know, and can show it by pointing to the right picture when they hear the corresponding word. In kindergarten, we also have a measure of word reading fluency. And as you may be able to see here, most of the values are 0, which means that kids in kindergarten don't know how to read any words yet. There are also measures taken in grade 1, G1, and grade 2, G2. So we have vocabulary in grade 1 and 2, and word fluency in grade 1 and 2. And there is also a measurement of word fluency taken after some reading intervention. Some of these data come from a real study. Others are made up for the purpose of demonstrations in this course. But otherwise, they are very realistic data. So the first thing to check is the definition of the variables. The first 4 variables here are obviously not numbers. They are labels. So it's very easy to understand that they are actually measured on a nominal scale. There is no ordering in any of these, no rank. There is a bunch of children here identified by the IDs. There is 2 categories in sex, 2 labels. There is 2 labels in home language and 2 labels in condition. And to check the definition or to correct the definition of a variable, you double click on the variable name, and this panel opens up. And you can see here what the measuring scale is. This is at the nominal level, which is correct. We're not going to change it. We could set it to ordinal or continuous if it were a different kind of variable. Also, Jamovi has a specific type that's called ID, but we don't need to use it here. We'll just leave it at the actual nominal scale. And here you can see all the different levels, which in this case are the children. You can go to the next variable by clicking here or by clicking here. The sex variable is also measured at the nominal level. We're not changing it. It is a text label, and the possible labels are F and M. The next variable is again nominal measurement of a text type, and includes two levels, majority and minority language. And the next variable is condition that has control and intervention values measured at the nominal scale level. The next variable, matrices 0k, which is in fact the number of correct answers in this test, is actually measured at the ratio level because it is a real count. So although the data are integers, you cannot have half a question answered correctly. You still have a natural zero, which means 0 correct answers. And so this variable is measured at the ratio level, and here it's marked as continuous, because that's what Jamovi calls the number variables. The next variable is also continuous. It's letter knowledge at kindergarten, and this is the number of letters known by the child. So again, it's a ratio level. Vocabulary at kindergarten is again continuous because it's the number of correct responses in the vocabulary test. So this is correctly assigned to be continuous. And then we have vocabulary at grade 1, again correct. Vocabulary at grade 2, correct. Word fluency. This is measured as words per minute. So it is again a ratio level variable, which is marked as continuous in Jamovi. Word fluency in grade 1, word fluency in grade 2. So clicking on this will remove this variable definition panel. And now that we have checked all of our variables and ensured that they're correctly defined, we can go on and look at some descriptives. To perform descriptive analysis, we have to be on the analysis panel here, not the data panel, and click on exploration, descriptives. And we'll go through this twice because what we can do with nominal level scales and ratio level scales are very different things. So first, we should choose our nominal scales. We don't need to do any statistics on the IDs unless we wanted to check for mistakes of the sort. For example, if there are any children that appear twice. So if we want to check that, we could add ID here and use a values table to see if any ID appears twice, because that would be a mistake. So I clicked here on frequency tables as a first thing to look at. And the frequencies of all the values, frequency here means how many times it is observed. We look at the frequencies. So let's start from the bottom, and you see that each ID appears once. All these are ones. So there are no mistakes in the IDs. None of the IDs appears twice. We're not really interested in this, so I'm sending it back. What kind of descriptive statistics can we do with nominal level variables? Well, not very much. We cannot calculate means or medians. So I unclick these. There is no minimum or maximum. We can count how many values we have and how many missing values we have. You can see here that for our 3 nominal variables, we have no missing values. So there is 47 values of each. None of the other options apply for qualitative or categorical or nominal scale variables. So we don't check anything else. And that's it for our categorical variables. Now we will do another run for the quantitative variables. And to go back, I clicked here to close that analysis window. If I click here, it comes back. And if I add or remove anything from here, or if I check anything, this result is affected. But I don't want to affect this now. I want to start a new set of descriptives concerning the quantitative, the numeric variables. Those are marked as continuous in Jamovi. So I want this to be done. I could alternatively close it like that and start a new one. So again, I go exploration, descriptives, and here we have the beginning of a new set of descriptive analyses. And these will concern the numeric ones. So I clicked on the first variable. I could double click it. It makes no difference. I could send it in here like that and back. And to select a whole bunch of variables together, I can shift click, shift, I'm pressing shift and clicking. And so all of these are selected. And I can send all of these here. I left this one out on purpose because it's the intervention variable and we don't care about it right now. Jamovi will not produce a table of values for quantitative, for numeric variables, because there could be very many different values. Indeed, each value might even appear only once. So this is not a very informative thing to do with a numeric variable. Instead, we can have the indices of central tendency and dispersion that we have already seen. So first we have to check how many values we have and if there are any missing ones. This is always important to check. In terms of central tendency, we can get the median and the mean, and we can also ask for the mode when it exists. We're usually not interested in it. If we are, we click here and it appears in the list as well. We can look at the individual quartiles. We can look at the minimum and maximum values, the range of values, and the standard deviation. And we can look at some other things that we will talk about later in the course. So these are the basic descriptive statistics that are usually interested in: the mean and the median, the range, the standard deviation, the minimum and the maximum. And we're usually more interested in the minimum and maximum, which are indicative of potential problems, than their difference, which is the range. So this is a reasonable table of descriptives for a set of numeric variables. And now that we have completed this analysis, we can hide the analysis panel and we can save our results or copy paste the tables into our report. We have one section for the categorical variables and one section for the numeric variables.